Your home. It's where you feel the safest, believing that you and your family are secure. But there is a silent threat that may be lurking, one that you can't see, smell, or taste.
Each year, carbon monoxide poisoning injures thousands. It can strike without you knowing it, and it can even be deadly.
In 2009, the Colorado General Assembly enacted legislation that requires the installation of carbon monoxide alarms in residential properties with fuel-fired appliances, furnaces, or wood fireplaces.
That state law says when a residential property is sold, the owner is required to put in a carbon monoxide alarm in the hallway within 15 feet of bedrooms. The same is true with rental properties. When a new occupant moves in, the owner is required to put in a carbon monoxide alarm. Also, the residential building code requires a carbon monoxide alarm when a building permit is issued for interior remodeling or the replacement of a fuel-fired appliance.
The City of Littleton and Littleton Fire Rescue recommend that all homes have carbon monoxide alarms. Don't wait. Protect your family today.
Welcome to the holiday edition of Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves, and I have a special co-host today, Mary Beth Morrissey. Mary Beth, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Mary Beth is on our FinCom, and she's going to be joining me today as we talk about everything holidays. We're going to start by reviewing the Thanksgiving Day game and the turkey trot that happened on Thanksgiving that Mary Beth ran. We're also going to talk about the tree lighting, the trees that the Ashland Lions are selling, and we have a special interview with our new chief, our interim chief, Scott Boothby. He'll be in to talk a little bit about himself and some holiday safety. So stay with us, and we'll be right back with our Selectmen update and a special FinCom update. Welcome back. We're going to start with our Selectmen update. Mary Beth, we actually had a very short meeting last night. It was only we're only doing one meeting in December, and we figured it would be long, but we were able to get through things pretty quickly.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes, we appreciate it.
And unusual, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we set the tax rate, so that'll be $17.30. We had our hearing back at our last meeting, and this just was the last one after all the paperwork was processed. So that's been approved. We looked at Warren Woods, the new ad hoc committee that's looking at what to do in the front 16 acres. They came before us for some funding to do a wetlands line delineation, sort of see where the wetlands are in those 16 acres, and then they can start going from there as to where they might want to look at doing some different things on those front 16 acres.
That's exciting. That's great.
Yeah, so there's some progress there. We had the promotion of a temporary captain. Keith Roby was announced as the temporary captain, and we'll be talking more about what's going on with our fire department when we talk to Chief Boothby. I have to remember it's Chief Boothby now.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, then we have some other personnel changes that are going on. We're losing our town accountant and town treasurer. So we got an update from our town manager, Tony Schiavi, and assistant town manager, Mike Herbert, about how they're going to be filling those positions. They'll both be gone as of the end of December. And we hired someone new in our DPW department. There's always transitions going on, so that's good. Then we talked about some other things, some other big things that I think people might want to know about is we had 4 restaurants. We have a time where Restaurants have to close by 1 o'clock. They have to stop pouring at a certain time. And for New Year's, a number of restaurants come to us and ask for extensions of those times.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a place in Ashland that might be doing a New Year's event and you don't want to travel too far from home, the Ashland Ale House, Hantu, Stone's Public House, and TJ's will all be doing stuff for New Year's Eve. They'll be open till 2 and stop pouring at 1.
Oh, well,
So
that's great. They can
if
ring
you're
in the
looking
new
for
year.
a local place to ring in the new year, those restaurants are doing that. We did our annual license renewals, and I was talking to someone about this and like, well, what are the different licenses? So the Board of Selectmen issues and has to renew all the liquor licenses and the various
Okay,
versions of those, the restaurant ones, entertainment licenses, Class 2 and 3, which are dealing with cars and gas stations, entertainment licenses, lodging. So those all get renewed on an annual basis. One of the ones, and people might just be finding out about this, that has closed is the Corner Pub. They decided not to renew their license, so they actually had their last day of business yesterday on December 10th. So management decided that was the best way to go for them. Which happens.
Right,
Things change. I mean, we've seen lots of changes in different restaurants here
Yes,
in
we
town.
have.
So, I mean, the one on Front Street is a perfect example. Again, it was a very light meeting. We were letting people know about the Route 126 forum. That was, people see this after that. It happened on December 11th,
Right.
which is the day we're filming. We also looked at where we're at in regards to our fiscal year 15 budget. And things are looking pretty good. Certain areas are a little over, some are a little under, and they're managing that. And I'm sure the FinCom
Right,
has been
exciting.
very aware of that as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. And then we talked a little bit about our water update with all the rain. Our reservoir is certainly looking good. We did have a very large break, though, over the weekend, just after Thanksgiving.
Right.
And we lost almost 4 million gallons of water
Oh, more than I
during
thought.
that
That's-
water main break. It was one of the older pipes in town. It was in a location that is not very visible. And good old-fashioned listening to the fire hydrants is how they found out
Right.
where it is.
I did read about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that happened. And then we're taking a break until January. So, I mean, of course, town government does not take a break. Our employees are working hard, and even though we're volunteering, we will be in touch. And if there's stuff going on, as Board of Selectmen, we're aware. But we won't have another formal meeting until January 7th. So
Oh, wow.
we'll get to enjoy the holidays.
Yes. Good for you. Good for you.
Good.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Okay, well, that's our Selectmen update. And stay with us, and we'll be right back with our FinCom update. Welcome back. So our committee update is going to be from the Finance Committee, also known as the FinCom. So Mary Beth, first tell us a little bit about the Finance Committee and what are some of the things that you do?
Well, sure. We're 7 members from the community. We're appointed by the town moderator for a 3-year overlapping term. Each of us overlap. We do have one opening right now, so if anyone is interested, fill out a talent bank form or come to one of our meetings, and we'd love to have you.
And when do you meet?
We usually meet twice a month on a Tuesday, especially during budget time. We meet at least twice a month. Sometimes it's not as often in the summer, and hopefully in December just once this time.
Okay, good.
And we had our meeting this past week, so
Great.
We will also be taking some time until early January. But everyone else is working hard right now
Right.
on the budget and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So take us through what are you working on right now?
Well, there's 2 main things that the FinCom does, and really we are allowed to expend funds from our reserve fund, and we actually spend a lot of time. The second major role for us is to deliberate, review, and dig into each of the warrant articles that come up at town meeting.
Okay.
And so one of the biggest one is the annual budget. That's in May. So we're working on that currently. So the group sent out our letter from the FinCom to all the department heads with what our message is and what guidelines we'd like them to use to start building the budget process. So that's one of the major things we're working on right now. It's gone out. All the department heads are working on their budgets, and we're gearing up for actually reviewing and spending time with each of those departments in January. and
Great,
through the
great.
months of January and February.
So January and February, you look at it. When can the public start seeing or getting some information about where we are financially as a town and on that budget?
For the FY16 budget, our first meetings will start in January, so anyone's welcome to attend, but we typically meet with the fire department, the police department, the DPW, the schools, and for this year, the Capital Improvement Committee will also be presenting throughout this time frame, so we're excited to hear what they're working on and what they think they're going to be needing in the future. So we will flush out that budget during those couple of weeks, and I think from a budget timeline perspective, anyone can come in here and look and be involved in that process. But for us to actually publish and have the warrant ready for people to see our recommendations on the budget is going to be a little bit longer. The Board of Selectmen actually, you guys know, you have to approve it first, and then we make our recommendation on it after that. So that's in the April timeframe before town meeting.
And I know as we were doing our meeting last night, Tony had let us know that our first tri-board, so Board of Selectmen, School Committee, and Finance Committee will be at the end of January to sort of take that first look at where is everyone at and where is the town at as a whole.
And that's a great meeting because then we can kind of work through some of the nuances and flush some things out together as a team, so it's nice.
Yeah. And how long have you been on the FinCom?
I'm going into my 4th year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So you have experience and you've worked on a couple different budgets.
Yeah, it's been a great learning experience and a couple of years. And it's what's different about this administration with Tony and Michael, he's done a couple of, we think, really exciting things for the town. And some of the things that we as a team, and our FinCom team are excited about are the new policies that we've written.
Yes.
With collaboration with the selectmen and the school board, Michael and Barbara from our schools.
Right.
So it's been a great process. We've got a reserve policy now in place, a debt policy in place, and now the capital improvement policy, which I think if we can stick to those that we've written, and worked so hard on this past year, it's really going to help drive our town forward and evolve the town. So we're excited for that.
If people have been in town for a while, they know many years ago we had a real financial issue and things got improved. But as new people come on, and I think Tony and Mike really have decided that the financial health of the community is very important, and how we get that information out to our citizens and really say, okay, this is what we're doing to save money and to keep our taxes at bay.
Right.
And I think they've done a very good job.
I agree. We've been really finding lots of efficiencies this past year, and in prior years as well. But you continue to do that, and it's been a great experience so far.
Good. Okay, so January, February, talking to the different departments. So you guys are, the big thing now is you're leading up to that budget proposal for May town meeting.
Yeah, that that is the biggest thing. From our perspective, just staying on task with that and with our policies that we've written, trying to keep people focused on the budget and being efficient. The only other thing that we may have some not major concerns, but minor concerns is local aid from the state. We don't know. It's it's kind of an unknown what the new administration's going to do. So we're cautiously optimistic, I guess. We're going to always look on the bright side of things and hope that things will work in our favor as we move forward.
We got good information, or we think positive information last night, I guess, because the current budget, the fiscal year 15 budget at the state level, is a $325 million deficit.
Yes.
And we thought we'd see some real cuts. Deval Patrick is waiting to make some of those cuts. Governor-elect Baker is saying he's going to try not and touch the local aid, so we'll have to see what happens.
Right. So those are the unknowns that we, that's good to hear that we're still continuing to be optimistic.
Yeah. So I think they said like $20,000 to $22,000 is what our cut is going to be as of right now for local aid. We'll see what happens, because as you know, it's always a moving target.
It is.
So, but great. Well, thanks for that FinCom update, and thanks for being here. Stay tuned, and we are going to be back with our interim chief, Scott Boothby from the fire department. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see bright the dawn's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it for fifth grader Maeve McCann.
Welcome back to the holiday edition of Around the Clock. I'm here with Mary Beth Morrissey, and we have our special guest today, our new interim fire chief, Scott Boothby.
Hi, glad to be here.
Scott, thanks for coming.
Oh, no problem.
We are excited to have you and to get to talk to you about your new role as the interim chief at the Ashland Fire Department. To start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. I started out in the fire service at 16 years old in Southborough, and I worked a couple years full-time in Southborough, but in 1987, I came over to Ashland, and I was a firefighter for a good amount of time till 1997 when I got the lieutenant's position.
Okay.
And then worked a few years in the lieutenant's position, and then I made captain in 2007. And
Okay, so you've been captain since 2007, so 7 years.
Yes.
And now you are interim chief. So what is the difference between captain and chief for you?
As far as the difference, I didn't do as much with the the paperwork side of it as a captain. I did the operations because part of the captain's job is doing the operations of the department, and the fire prevention position is what I held. So now I'm away from that, and I'm more into the administrative stuff, the budget, the capitals, and taking care of the whole department. Now I got everybody below me.
Okay, so you'll be going before the FinCom
Terrific.
to
That's
get
correct.
to talk about
Sometime
the
in
budget.
January, right?
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. My
Great.
first shot at it.
Good, and working with town manager on the budget and different things. And you've
Yes.
just had some changes in your department. Not only was there the change of you moving up to chief, but we just appointed a new captain last night.
Right, that's correct. We held interviews, and all 4 lieutenants went for the position. But it was a tough pick, obviously, because all 4 have great classes that they have and experience that they have. So Lieutenant Roby ended up with the position as interim captain. He'll start on the 22nd. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll have my operations officer now. I'll have the fire prevention back. Right now I'm wearing a few hats that I can hand aside to Lieutenant Roby when he comes on board.
Good, good, okay. And then the other thing we wanted to talk to you while we had you here, we just had an incident in Ashland where someone was using a kerosene heater to heat inside their home. What are some of the things we need to look out for this time of year with cold weather and
Sure.
what things people are using?
Sure. As far as carbon monoxide, you need to look out for using those type of heaters. You don't want to use those type of heaters indoors. Those are only made for outdoors. As far as your furnaces and stuff, you want to make sure that when you get a snowstorm that the exhaust from the heater is not covered outside. You want to make sure that the snow's cleared from that. And especially, and even in a car, for some reason, if you were stuck in a car somewhere, you want to make sure that the snow's cleared from that. So the big concern is make sure that the exhaust is working properly and the snow's cleared from there.
Okay, and we have trees and Christmas trees and candles, and what other safety things can you remind people of while you're here?
Sure, no problem. As far as Christmas trees, if you're using a real Christmas tree, you want to make sure that you water it all the time, that it always has the water there. You want to make sure that the lights are off when you leave the home in the Christmas trees. Make sure they're unplugged. And when when the holidays are over, right away you want to make sure that that Christmas tree gets outside because they dry out real quick. So that's about it for Christmas trees. As far as candles, you want to make sure that the candles are out when you leave the home. If you're using those type of candles. Same thing with the window candles that are plugged in. You want to make sure that those are unplugged.
Okay, so even when you're not in the house. 'Cause
Right.
a lot of people have them on timers.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. You want to make sure that they're being supervised, if you want to call it, at all times, so that when you leave the home, you want to make sure that they're unplugged. As far as the candles, they're blown out and they're out completely.
How about exterior lights? Can they be on a timer if you're not home? Or you feel
Yeah,
like that's safe enough?
exterior lights are okay.
Okay.
They're made for the weather
Right.
and everything outside. Obviously, when you go to bed at night, you want to make sure that they're out.
Right.
But
Okay.
for the most part, those are covered for outdoor lights.
Okay. Good. Any other safety issues we should be thinking about this time of year?
Not really. I mean, we covered the trees, we
Yep.
covered the lights, we covered the candles.
Okay.
Chimneys.
Oh,
yeah,
exactly.
A lot of people
exactly.
using fires.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
As far as chimneys, whether you use it for a wood stove or you use it for a fireplace, you want to make sure that they're cleaned yearly by a professional. You don't want to get the buildup of creosote that's there. And as far as, there's pellet stoves, same thing. With the wood, you want to make sure that it's dried wood, that it's not, it's seasoned, if you want to call it. You don't want to cut down, where it's brand new and then have that, because that creates a lot of creosote that you end up with in your chimney.
So that's why you see seasoned firewood promoted.
Exactly.
Versus,
You can buy either one. You can buy one, just cut, or you can buy seasoned. But the just cut is to put outside, stack it, and make sure that you use it for, maybe next year or 2
Right.
years from then after it's been cut.
Good, good. Well, there's one question I always ask when people first come on the show, and you're going to get it later.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be prepared
I
because
can
you're going
think
to
about
hear it. So what is one thing that about you, Scott Boothby, that people here in town may not know that you'd be willing to share?
Oh, boy. Well,
That's a tough one.
I guess if I had to say, the only thing I can think of right off the top of my head is my love for dogs.
Okay.
I've always had German Shepherds. I have 2 German Shepherds at home now. So I like to do a lot with them, and they get me so I exercise.
There you go.
In whether it be morning or night, then we take them for a walk. So I guess it would just be my love for dogs.
Good.
If
Well,
I
that's
could-
a great thing to know.
Yeah, for a quick thing that I could think of.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, love of dogs. Good. Well, Scott, thank you for being here.
No
And
problem.
congratulations on the appointment to interim chief.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much. I'm
congratulations.
looking
Great
forward
news.
to it.
I know the department has a lot to be thinking about in the future with the transition, with the looking at the regional with Hopkinton.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to hearing more and getting you back when more information is available on
Oh,
that.
no problem. No problem. I'd be more than happy to come back.
Great.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Stay with us and we'll be right back with some other great information. We are here in Holliston at the Dancing Arts Center, but we have 2 Ashland residents with us. We have Emma Jo Queen and Adela Lynn. Emma, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm 16. I've been dancing here for 5 years, and I'm a junior at Worcester Academy.
And Adela?
Hi, I'm Adela. I'm 16. I'm a sophomore at Ashland High School, and I've been dancing here for 13 years.
Adela, tell us what roles you're going to be dancing in the Nutcracker.
I'm doing Soldier Doll. I'm in Snow and Waltz Corps, and I'm in Spanish.
And Emma, what are you dancing?
I'm doing Mouse Queen, Waltz Corps, and Snow Corps.
Now, since you've been dancing here a while, you've probably done a couple of Nutcrackers. So, Adela, what other roles have you done, or how are they different from what you're doing this year?
When I was younger, I did Mouse. So that was like a full-on mouse costume with like a blanket over you, basically. And I don't think I've done I've always done Spanish. Like I've done Merlitons once, which was like a tutu.
Okay, good. And Emma, what else have you done?
I've been in Spanish, Russian. I did Soldier my first year, and I had like a big wig, and I was like in this crazy costume.
Okay, so now this year the Nutcracker is a little bit different because we're doing a full production. Usually we've only done parts of it. How is that different? Are you doing a lot more dancing? Have you gotten to run through it? And what's it like to do the full Nutcracker?
It definitely takes like a lot more endurance to run a full Nutcracker, but it's a lot more fun too, getting to do all of the scenes.
Adela, for you?
It's more like parts that you double up with people, and it's also nice to like have the full story so then the audience will understand it.
We're here with Greg Saulnier, aka Herr Drosselmeyer from the Nutcracker. Greg, thank you for taking a few minutes with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
So what I wanted to talk to you about is you're doing a full Nutcracker this year. Change. Tell us a little bit about the process.
Well, the process, we were fortunate in some respects because this school had done a full length before, and there were many set pieces that we dusted off and refurbished that were in storage. So we just felt it was time to go from a smaller version to a bigger version. We had the bones, if you will, to work with, and we just felt it was the right time. We were very fortunate to contact the people at the Norwood Theater, and the timing was perfect. They didn't have a Nutcracker scheduled, and we wanted to do one, so we said, let's just take this opportunity, and we just went for it, and we decided to make it a full-scale production. So it's definitely a lot of work, but it's been totally worth it.
So from past years, what have you had to add back?
We added the entire battle scene, so now we have a lot of mice in the cast. We've added, we've added Mother Ginger, the full Mother Ginger, so you'll have to come and see the show if you want to see what Mother Ginger's all about. So it's a full-scale version of that character. And we've also added a lot of other props and production aspects that we couldn't do in our smaller space before.
Good. So Norwood Theater is hosting it.
Correct.
And if people are interested in getting tickets, where can they go to do that?
They can either call the box office, or the best thing to do is to go to www.norwoodstage.com and look up Nutcracker. The shows are December 20th at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, December 21st at 2 o'clock.
Okay. Good. Okay, stay with us and we'll be right back with some footage of the Dancing Arts Center's Nutcracker. Enjoyed what you've just been listening to. It was performance by our Ashland High School Band and Chorus from their holiday concert. And this is the part of the show where we take you through all the great things that have been going on here in Ashland. And this being our holiday show, we're going to start off with some of the great things that happened on Thanksgiving. And Mary Beth is going to tell us a little bit about the turkey trot.
Oh, yes. This year was a snowy turkey trot. The No Frills Turkey Trot took place Thanksgiving morning before the game. We ended up running around the track, a snowy track, but we had a great turnout. I know that all my friends that were running that event did a terrific job. The turkey was there to hug all the kids and take pictures, and a lot of fun happened. And when we were there, we saw a lot of volunteers shoveling off the bleachers and getting ready for the big game later in the day. Even Jim Adams shoveling the lines you know, in between on the field.
We heard that they were just doing the lines for the for the game. So, and we have a little bit of an interview with Mr. Adams about the shoveling that he got to do.
Are we rolling?
Yep.
Yeah. Thanksgiving Day 2014. It's a lovely day to play. We've got Hopkinton coming to town. A little snow, as you can see, about 3 to 5 inches. We got a great community effort. Everybody trying to clean the fields off. We got people running around. We had the turkey trot. But you know, overall, we're just thankful that we get a chance to do this and have some fun. So, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in our community.
So that was a little bit with Mr. Adams about the game. The game went pretty well. Ashland did okay until the very end. They lost 9-7. A couple of errors, couple different things the last 3 minutes of the game, but they had a very hard-fought game and they had a great season. So even though they didn't win Thanksgiving Day game, congratulations to the Ashland High football team. But not only do our Ashland High football players play football, they also volunteer. And they helped out the Lions unload their Christmas trees.
I think that's wonderful.
Apparently they do it on an annual basis. The football team comes out, or at least members of the football team come out on the Friday morning of Thanksgiving weekend, and they unload the Christmas trees that they then get sold by the Lions. They are set up across from Dairy Queen, which is where they've been for a number of years now.
They do
You had a great
job.
experience?
Bought our tree last weekend, and all the staff there were terrific. They loaded it right on the car for me. They took good care of it.
They cut off the end.
They did, and it's all set. And it's actually a really beautiful tree. It's shaped really nice. And yeah, and the good thing is it does go to charity. So
that's right. They get about 600 trees. They come from Maine. And of the profits, half of the money goes to iResearch with the Lions support, a big part of. But the other half of their profits go to local charities here in Ashland.
Yeah, that's
They're
awesome.
big supporters of the community. So if you don't have your Christmas tree yet, you can go to the Lions. They are open Monday through Friday from 12 to 8, and then Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 8. But go soon, because they have been known to run out well before Christmas. So if you don't have your tree, go to the Lions. Very helpful, great supporters of our town. So
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Watch us sing and watch
you got to hear our Ashland Band and Chorus as we led into this segment, but now we have some footage of the performance of the high school band at the Framingham Barnes and Noble. They went and performed there. It's become an annual event.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Where they go and perform in the community. And Todd Carter, a senior, did a reading of The Polar Express.
Oh, one of my favorites. Great
yeah,
story.
Great story, great story. So I guess it was an enjoyable performance. And here's a little bit of footage. It's not really Christmas or the holiday season until you see the lights go on for the annual tree lighting. This year it happened on Sunday, December 7th. It was supposed to be on the 6th, but it was a very rainy day that day, and I don't know that Santa would have appreciated the rain. He's good with the cold.
I think he was worried about the children.
That could be too. He didn't want them getting all wet waiting in line. Yeah. So Santa came on the fire truck, visited, and sat with a lot of children. And they got to tell him what they wanted for Christmas, and it's always a great event.
That's awesome.
And it's sponsored by the Ashland Day Committee.
Oh, great.
Yeah. We're here at the Ashland tree lighting on a little cold night, but we're going to show you the trees lighting up, the arrival of Santa, and we're going to talk to some people and some children who might be waiting to talk to Santa.
Do you eat all your vegetables?
Yes.
You do. And do you help around the house, Mommy and Daddy?
Yes.
Awesome. That's all Santa needs to know.
So girls, before you leave Santa's lap, what do you think of seeing Santa? Is it fun seeing Santa?
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Maeve.
Maeve. And what's your name?
Fiona.
Fiona. Wow, this was very nice. Thank you for sharing your time with Santa with me. I know I sort of just jumped in here, but we wanted to have some time with Santa and with some very nice young ladies. And you girls are both very nice. Thank you for sharing your time.
And I love your boots, Fiona. They're very beautiful.
Hello, Miss Grace.
Hi, Santa. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
We're just going to quickly jump in here. I hope you girls don't mind. We just wanted to talk to Santa. How was your trip?
It was long, but it's always nice to come to Ashland because Ashland makes me feel so comfortable and so welcomed. I love coming here.
Good. Well, we're glad you came, and there's still a long line of people, so we're not going to stay very long.
Well,
but thank you, and Merry Christmas to you. Okay, thank you, Santa. So from there, what else happened this season? Oh, we had a forum about the school start times. There was one back in October, and this is a second one they had.
Right.
Again, a continued discussion looking at some not new, but a lot of information's been coming out, especially for high school students, that maybe they shouldn't be sitting at their desk at 7:30 in the morning trying to learn.
Right.
That
maybe a little more sleep.
A later time, a later start time. So that discussion is still going on. Of course, there's looking at contracts and do we just change one of the schools and how does that impact all the buses because we only have one set of buses for all 4 schools. Or do we make the change for everything? So they're really looking for community input.
Right.
And what was interesting is I've been following it in some other towns as well, and Natick just shot it down.
I did see that in the paper. Yes.
Yeah. One of the reasons I think for Natick is at their high school, I know they have a program where students can leave during last period and go do either internships or work or things like that. So I think if they had a later start time in Natick, it would affect some of those programs.
Yeah, lots of moving balls to kind
lots
of
of
deal.
moving parts and lots of things to look at. So, but that's, if you're interested in that, please make sure you keep following it. The schools have been very good about getting the information out there about when they're doing that. And, another great thing that happened here in town, Kara Terrell from our Youth and Family Services Department has a great program called Adopt a Family for the holidays. And what she does is she asks for volunteer families to pick a family that may need help for the holidays. They need assistance getting presents for their kids or things like
program.
that. Oh,
Yes.
Fabulous program. And there were many, many bags of gifts at the basement of the community center recently.
You know, that does make you feel really, you know, like that's what it's all about, right? The holidays and giving back. So that's a great, great program.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kara from Ashland Youth and Family Services. Just wanted to let you know about the Ashland Youth and Family Services holiday program. We have donations from everybody in the town. Almost every one of our 100 children out of the families was adopted by another family or organization in Ashland. As you can tell, we have tons of toys here, and we'll be giving them out on Monday the 15th so that families can give them to their children for Christmas.
And I think that's Ashland throughout the whole year. I mean, with all the volunteers that work on so many different committees and want to do stuff for the kids and for the seniors. But yeah, around the holidays it really comes out, and it is a nice thing to see.
Terrific.
Good. Okay. Well, that's all the great things that have been going on here in Ashland. We hope you'd enjoyed it. And stay with us, and we'll be right back for our closing comments. Ready to close this episode of Around the Clock. Mary Beth, before I let you go, first of all, thank you for being here with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been great having you, different perspective. I love bringing in different co-hosts to let people see all the great people that are doing wonderful things here in Ashland. But before I let you go, I have to ask you the question, because this is your first time on the show. What is something about you that people in Ashland may not know that you are willing to share with the rest of us?
Well, if you know me, you might know this already, but if you don't know, I always wanted to be a singer. Love to karaoke sing, but will only do it out of state because I know I don't really have the talent, and do recognize that, you know, after these many years that I really will never have a career in singing. American Idol didn't start soon enough for me.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that's probably the only.
And any other last thoughts?
I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday season and safe and enjoyable, relaxing, wonderful holiday time for all.
Great.
And it's been a lot of fun being here.
Good. Well, thank you for joining me. And to you, our audience, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of our community. I wish you all, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate, that you have an enjoyable time with your family and friends, and you celebrate your true meaning of this holiday season. So thank you, and we'll be back in January.
Your home. It's where you feel the safest, believing that you and your family are secure. But there is a silent threat that may be lurking, one that you can't see, smell, or taste.
Each year, carbon monoxide poisoning injures thousands. It can strike without you knowing it, and it can even be deadly.
In 2009, the Colorado General Assembly enacted legislation that requires the installation of carbon monoxide alarms in residential properties with fuel-fired appliances, furnaces, or wood fireplaces.
That state law says when a residential property is sold, the owner is required to put in a carbon monoxide alarm in the hallway within 15 feet of bedrooms. The same is true with rental properties. When a new occupant moves in, the owner is required to put in a carbon monoxide alarm. Also, the residential building code requires a carbon monoxide alarm when a building permit is issued for interior remodeling or the replacement of a fuel-fired appliance.
The City of Littleton and Littleton Fire Rescue recommend that all homes have carbon monoxide alarms. Don't wait. Protect your family today.